When Robert Francis Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV, was insulted on a first-class flight due to a simple seat mix-up, a wealthy executive thought he was putting an old priest in his place, until the shocking truth about the man he was speaking to unraveled, changing everything. Before becoming Pope Leo XIV, Cardinal Robert Prevost was traveling from the United States to Rome. Despite his high rank within the Vatican, he declined a security detail and preferred to travel as an ordinary passenger. A business executive in an expensive suit made his way confidently down the first-class aisle. But his smile faded the moment he spotted an elderly man in clerical clothing already seated in 2A, his assigned seat. "Excuse me," the executive said impatiently. "I believe you're in my seat." Cardinal Prevost looked up with gentle eyes. "I'm very sorry if there's been a mistake. My ticket also says 2A, he replied, calmly showing his boarding pass. The executive, James Reed, scoffed and pulled out his own ticket. "Impossible. I booked this seat in advance. I always sit here when flying to Rome." A flight attendant, sensing the tension, approached. "Is there a problem, gentlemen?" "Yes," Reed said sharply. "Someone's in my seat." The flight attendant checked both boarding passes and furrowed her brow. "I see. It looks like our system had a technical glitch during check-in. Both of you were assigned the same seat. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience." "Then fix it," Reed demanded. "I need this specific seat." "I'd be happy to move," Cardinal Prevost offered gently. "It's no trouble at all." The flight attendant hesitated. "That's very kind of you, sir, but considering your age, this seat might be more comfortable. It has extra legroom and a table for your belongings." Reed snapped. "Being old doesn't mean you get special treatment. I have important work to do on this flight, and I need that table." "Sir, we can find another first-class seat for you," the attendant tried to mediate. Reed raised his voice. "If he wants to act holy, he can sit in a less comfortable seat. What's he going to do that's so important? Pray?" Several passengers began turning their heads toward the commotion. Yet, Cardinal Prevost remained calm, his expression unmoved by the hostility. "Sir, please lower your voice," the attendant insisted. "We'll resolve this peacefully." Reed leaned in closer, his expensive jacket brushing against the cardinal's modest clerical robe. "Do you know who I am?" he hissed. "I make decisions that impact thousands. And what do you do? Repeat ancient fairy tales." Cardinal Prevost looked at him with gentle compassion. "You seem very stressed, my son. Perhaps we could speak calmly." "There's nothing to discuss," Reed interrupted. "You're in my seat. I want it back." "Sir, I must insist you lower your voice," the attendant said again as more passengers watched the drama unfold. Reed gestured dismissively at the cardinal. What's he even contributing to the world anymore? Just dead weight taking up space. When the cardinal began to speak again, Reed cut him off. "I create jobs. I innovate. I build real value. And what do? Sell false hope with stories that never change anything." Cardinal Prevost sat quietly, hands folded on his lap, displaying no offense. His peaceful demeanor only fueled Reed's frustration. "There's a seat in 4C with a table," the attendant offered. "That's not the point," Reed barked. "I booked this seat. I always sit here." A woman across the aisle spoke up. "Sir, maybe you could show some respect." "Stay out of it," Reed shot back without even looking. "This has nothing to do with you." "You don't understand," Reed continued, voice rising. "Some of us have real responsibilities. Do you know how many deals I close on these flights? My work matters." He gestured toward the cardinal. "He just mumbles prayers that do nothing." Cardinal Prevost finally spoke again, his voice calm and even. "I understand your frustration. If this seat is crucial for your work, I'm happy to move." He began to stand, but the attendant gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "Please, sir, you shouldn't have to." "It's quite all right," the cardinal said with a kind smile. "Nashlo, the trading the other county of quite fork." Reed slid into 2A, spreading out his documents on the table. "See? Wasn't that hard, was it?" The flight attendant looked down, embarrassed. "Please don't worry," she told the cardinal. He smiled. "There's no need to apologize." Reed laughed smugly. She couldn't even handle a simple seating issue. But the cardinal's tone shifted. "She deserves to be treated with respect." "We resolved the seat," Reed said, frowning. "What's the issue now?" "The issue," the cardinal replied gently, "is how you treated her." Reed's temper flared. What are you going to do? Pray for me? No one deserves to be spoken to that way, Cardinal Prevost said evenly. Reed scowled. You religious types always act morally superior while your church sits on billions. I'm only suggesting basic kindness. And I'm suggesting you mind your business, Reed snapped. This is why I can't stand religious people. All talk, no real action. The cabin grew tense. Reed leaned in again, eyes cold. Your whole existence is a fraud. I employ thousands. I actually make things happen. What do? Sit in golden halls while children starve? The purser stepped in. Sir, please stop. What, afraid of the truth? Reed shot back. Tell me, does God get tax exemptions too? Cardinal Prevost began to respond, but Reed cut him off. Save it, I pay more taxes in 1 quarter than your charity does in a decade. The cardinal studied Reed's face. You carry deep pain related to the church. May I ask why? The unexpected gentleness threw Reed off balance. You're all hypocrites, he muttered, regaining composure, preaching poverty from golden thrones. Cardinal Prevost slowly lifted his foot to show his worn shoes. These cost $30. Don't act humble while flying first class, Reed said bitterly. People are suffering. An elderly woman interjected. Have you no decency? I'm only saying what others are thinking, Reed barked back, though passengers were clearly shaking their heads. The cardinal leaned forward, voice soft but pointed. What happened that made you so angry with God? Reed trembled slightly. Don't psychoanalyze me. This has nothing to do with God, he muttered. It's about people like you, thinking you're special. The attendant returned. Sir, please stow your laptop for takeoff. Reed slammed it shut. Fine, it's not like I can work with all this drama. He looked at the cardinal. You want to know why I have a problem with people like you? My mother spent her life devoted to the church. Every Sunday, every extra dollar in the plate. His voice broke. And when she got sick, where was the church? Where were all the prayers? I'm very sorry about your mother, the cardinal said quietly. I don't want your pity, Reed snapped. I worked 3 jobs to keep her alive while she prayed for miracles. Faith doesn't promise a life without suffering, Cardinal Prevost said. It acknowledges that suffering is part of the journey. Reed scoffed. What a convenient excuse for unanswered prayers. What is it that you do? The cardinal asked kindly. I'm Chief Operations Officer of Meridian Global Ventures, 3.8 billion valuation, 3,000 employees in 12 countries, Reed replied stiffly. That sounds like meaningful work, Cardinal Prevost said sincerely. Reed hesitated. It is. We're shaping the future with tech. Meridian Global? The cardinal asked. Isn't Thomas Winters your founder? Reed blinked. You know Thomas? We're friends. We met through a hospital project in East Africa. Reed narrowed his eyes. Who exactly are you? I currently serve as prefect of the dicastery for bishops at the Vatican, the cardinal replied. An elderly woman gasped. You're Cardinal Prevost. I recognize your voice from Vatican radio. The attendant rushed over. We didn't realize you were traveling with us, Your Eminence. Is there anything we can offer? Not at all, Cardinal Prevost smiled. Everyone has been very kind. Reed shrank in his seat. So you're a high-ranking church official. That only makes it worse, Reed muttered. Cardinal Prevost asked gently, with all your success, have you found peace? Reed said nothing. 7 years ago, the cardinal continued, when your mother Margaret was in her final days at St. Catherine's Hospital, she wasn't alone. Reed froze. What? I visited the hospital every Tuesday. She spoke often of her son, a brilliant businessman. She kept a photo of you by her bed. That's not possible, Reed whispered. Nobody knows that. She told me you brought daisies every Sunday, no matter how busy you were. Reed's face crumpled. That was between me and her. She asked me to give you this. If I ever saw you again, the cardinal pulled out a worn envelope. Reed's hands trembled as he accepted it. She understood your anger with God, the cardinal said softly, but she hoped you'd one day return to the peace you had before losing her. Reed stared at the envelope. This can't be real. Her handwriting was unmistakable. For James when he's ready. She was proud of you, the cardinal added. So proud. But I failed her, Reed whispered. I worked so hard and still lost her. That wasn't your failure, the cardinal replied. Some journeys we each take alone. Why didn't you tell me who you were earlier? Because maybe I needed to understand your pain before I could share this. Reed unfolded the letter, tears spilling down his cheeks. She knew, he sobbed. She knew I was angry and still loved me. Faith doesn't require perfection, only honesty, the cardinal said. I spent 7 years proving work matters more than prayer, Reed said. And now I find out you were there when I wasn't. I was there, the cardinal confirmed. Every daisy, every extra hour, that was love too. I treated you terribly, and her, Reed admitted. As the plane began its descent, the cardinal reached for his phone. What are you doing? Reed asked. I believe it's time I make a call, the cardinal replied, dialing. Thomas? Yes, it's Robert. I'm on a flight with your COO, James Reed, and I wanted to share something. Reed braced for professional fallout. He's exactly the person you need for your foundation initiative. His clarity and passion for real-world impact, I've rarely seen anything like it. Reed's eyes widened in disbelief. Justice isn't about punishment, Mr. Reed, the cardinal said. It's about transformation. I don't deserve this. None of us do, the cardinal smiled. That's why it's called grace. Reed stopped the flight attendant. I behaved terribly earlier. There's no excuse. I'm truly sorry. She nodded, surprised. Apology accepted. As the plane touched down, Reed turned to the cardinal. How do I make this right? Start by reading her letter again, the cardinal said, and bring her daisies next time you're home. One question, if you hadn't known Thomas, would you still have forgiven me? There's no such thing as an ordinary soul, the cardinal replied. Forgiveness isn't about who the other person is, but who we choose to be. Months later, when Cardinal Robert Prevost was elected Pope Leo XIV, James Reed watched the news with deep reverence. On his desk, in a glass vase once belonging to his mother, stood a fresh bouquet of daisies, a reminder that even in the coldest winter of the soul, spring always comes again.